launch of the International Space Station, ISS. This ambitious project, costing a staggering $100 billion, saw collaboration among major space agencies from the United States, Russia, Japan, the European Space Agency, and Canada. As the ISS became operational, scientists from participating countries conducted groundbreaking experiments in the unique environment of zero gravity. However, in the following decade, China, driven by a fervent desire to propel its scientific prowess and assert itself as a global power, sought to join the ISS initiative. In 2011, the U.S. Congress, fueled by concerns over intellectual property theft and threats to technological leadership, passed a law preventing NASA from collaborating with China on the ISS. Undeterred, China pivoted to developing its own space station, the TianGong, which achieved operational status in 2022, showcasing significant technological advancements compared to the ISS. Paralleling this narrative, China's technological ambitions extended beyond the cosmos. In the 2000s, a robust investment in its space program coincided with a surge in China's efforts to bolster its semiconductor industry. This move aimed to accelerate scientific development and solidify China's standing as a global technological force. However, echoing the space station saga, the U.S. implemented stringent policies from 2018 onwards, restricting China's access to advanced U.S. semiconductor equipment, citing national security concerns. Initially, specific Chinese companies, such as ZTE and Huawei, faced blacklisting due to suspected ties to the Chinese military. The restrictions escalated in 2022 when the U.S. effectively prohibited all Chinese companies from acquiring cutting-edge semiconductors and related equipment containing U.S. technology. This move, intended to cripple China's technology sector, raised expectations that the gap between Chinese and U.S. tech companies would widen significantly. Surprisingly, in September 2023, Huawei, a major player in the Chinese smartphone market, launched the Mate 60 Pro, equipped with a 7nm chip. Despite being under U.S. sanctions since 2018, Huawei showcased impressive technological prowess, with performance comparable to some 5nm chipsets, challenging the assumptions about China's setback in the tech race. The chip, designed by Huawei and manufactured by the Chinese state-owned Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, demonstrated that China had closed the technology gap faster than anticipated. China's substantial investment, exceeding $100 billion, in subsidizing domestic semiconductor companies, including SMIC and Huawei, played a pivotal role in achieving self-sufficiency. This revelation challenges the notion that severing China from the U.S. semiconductor industry would cripple its technological progress. Instead, it emphasizes China's resilience and determination to achieve self-reliance in semiconductor technology. As we navigate the complex landscape of the U.S. China tech war, it becomes evident that the dynamics at play are intricate and continually evolving. In the vast realm of electronic devices, from smartphones to computers and data centers, the heartbeat lies in the intricate world of semiconductors. While delving into the nitty-gritty details of semiconductor workings is beyond the scope of this video, let's unravel the basics. At the core of all computing devices are logical integrated circuits, housing CPUs and GPUs that store and process information in binary code as zeros and ones. The magic happens at the microscopic level, where each digit is stored on tiny transistors. The smaller these transistors, measured in nanometers, 1/1000th of a meter, the more efficient the chip. But here's the catch: when someone mentions a chip being 7 nanometers, it's not just about the transistor size. Other factors influence performance, making nanometers a shorthand term for the chip's efficiency based on industry benchmarks. Why does this matter? Well, the more advanced the microchips, the better the overall performance of the computer. Think graphically intense video games, longer battery life for mobile devices, and the efficient operation of data centers that power websites and cloud workloads. Advanced AI models, hungry for processing power, also rely on these cutting-edge microchips to crunch trillions of pieces of training data. Consider Apple's proprietary M1 chips, the brains behind MacBooks and iPads. While Apple's engineers design these chips based on their technical specifications, the actual manufacturing is outsourced to companies like the Taiwan Semiconductor Company, TSMC, Samsung in South Korea, Intel, Global Foundries in the US, and even China's SMIC, which crafted the 7nm Huawei chip. The process of creating these microprocessors is a feat in itself. Massive manufacturing facilities, costing billions, house expensive equipment sourced from various corners of the globe. Key players in advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment hail from the United States, Japan, Germany, and the Netherlands. Despite having access to top-notch equipment, mastering the complex manufacturing process remains a formidable challenge. For instance, Intel, despite pouring billions into its efforts, faced repeated delays in launching its 7nm processors, finally hitting the market in 2023. To put the evolution in perspective, the iPhone 4, sporting a 45nm processor in 2010, pales in comparison to the iPhone 15's 3nm chipset released in 2023. As we journey through the evolution of semiconductor technology, it becomes clear that the intricacies of this world are not just fascinating but pivotal in shaping the devices that have become an integral part of our daily lives. In the intricate landscape of the global semiconductor market, China emerges as the behemoth, annually importing a staggering $300 billion worth of semiconductors and related products, while it produces about $50 billion worth of semiconductors domestically. The bulk of its demand is met through imports. This colossal appetite is fueled by China's status as the world's largest manufacturer of electronic devices, ranging from smartphones and computers to televisions. As of 2019, a substantial 35% of all semiconductors sold globally found their way into Chinese factories, where they served as crucial inputs for the production of electronic goods destined for international markets. Not only is China a manufacturing powerhouse, but it also stands as a significant consumer market. In 2019, 24% of all electronic devices sold worldwide were consumed in China, second only to the United States. The relatively straightforward nature of assembling electronic devices in China, however, comes with thin profit margins and low wages for workers. The dependency on imported semiconductors poses a limitation on the profitability of China's electronic sector. Breaking into semiconductor manufacturing, a capital-intensive and highly complex industry, requires years of investment and tens of billions of dollars. Recognizing this, the Chinese government has stepped in, injecting substantial funds into partially state-owned semiconductor companies like SMIC. This strategy is not novel, as both Samsung and the Taiwan Semiconductor Company received government subsidies during their early years. As of 2019, Chinese chip makers command an 8% share of the global market, translating to around $50 billion in annual revenue. However, the majority of China's semiconductor production comprises inexpensive and basic chips, catering to budget smartphones, televisions, and other less advanced electronic devices. The more sophisticated and advanced chips, essential for flagship phones produced by Chinese brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo, are still designed and manufactured abroad, primarily in South Korea or Taiwan. This intricate dance between import dependency, government subsidies, and the pursuit of self-sufficiency shapes China's trajectory in the semiconductor realm, a crucial determinant of its position in the ever-evolving global tech landscape. The semiconductor conflict between the U.S. and China ignited in 2017 when the Trump administration imposed severe sanctions on ZTE, a partially state-owned Chinese telecommunications giant known for its budget-priced smartphones. Almost all of ZTE's devices at that time contained U.S.-designed chips. The U.S. accused ZTE of violating export controls by purchasing U.S.-built technology and re-exporting it to Iran and North Korea. With its chip supply abruptly cut off, ZTE faced a dire situation, witnessing a collapse in revenue and a two-thirds decline in its share price. The turning point came when the Trump administration, leveraging ZTE sanctions and broader trade negotiations with China, lifted the export restrictions on ZTE. This incident served as a wake-up call for Chinese authorities, revealing a vulnerability in their economy. The realization deepened in 2020 when an even larger Chinese telecommunications giant, Huawei, faced a ban on buying U.S.-designed chips due to alleged violations of export controls. Huawei, generating around $120 billion in annual revenue at the time, suffered catastrophic consequences. The ban wiped out its status as the world's largest smartphone maker, plummeting from a 20% share of global shipments to virtually zero overnight. In 2022, the conflict escalated further with the U.S. Commerce Department extending export restrictions, effectively prohibiting all U.S. companies from selling capital equipment capable of producing advanced semiconductors to any Chinese customers. High-end processors, vital for advanced artificial intelligence workloads, were also barred from being sold to Chinese customers. This included NVIDIA GPUs, which power AI models like ChatGPT. Amidst these challenges, China's urgency to achieve semiconductor self-sufficiency heightened. Huawei's subsidiary, HiSilicon, designs chips for its own smartphones, but the reliance on contract manufacturers subject to U.S. export controls posed a dilemma. While it was believed that Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, SMIC, a Chinese company, could only produce chips up to 14 nanometers, a surprising revelation came in September 2023. Huawei unveiled the Mate 60 Pro smartphone, equipped with a 7-nanometer chipset designed by HiSilicon and manufactured by SMIC, showcasing indigenous production capabilities. This unexpected leap in performance, comparable to some 5-nanometer chipsets, raised eyebrows in the industry. However, this doesn't necessarily signify China's unequivocal victory in the chip war. Semiconductor manufacturing involves massive, complex facilities with equipment often made or containing U.S. parts. SMIC's inability to access critical equipment due to U.S. export controls creates significant hurdles. Notably, lithography machines, crucial for precise chip production, face restrictions, impacting the ability to manufacture chips with transistor sizes below 10 nanometers. As diplomatic pressures and export controls persist, the narrative of China's technological dominance remains intricate and far from conclusive. The semiconductor battleground between the U.S. and China reached a boiling point in 2017 with the Trump administration's sanctions on ZTE, a major Chinese telecommunications player. The fallout exposed China's vulnerability to U.S. export controls, as ZTE faced a dire scenario with halted chip supplies, leading to a collapse in revenue and a significant drop in its share price. The repercussions deepened in 2020 when Huawei, a tech giant generating $120 billion in annual revenue, was banned from acquiring U.S.-designed chips. This move, ostensibly due to alleged violations of export controls, proved catastrophic for Huawei, once the world's largest smartphone maker. In 2022, the conflict escalated further as the U.S. Commerce Department expanded export restrictions, prohibiting U.S. companies from selling capital equipment and high-end processors to Chinese customers. The export restrictions compelled China to accelerate its pursuit of semiconductor self-sufficiency, resulting in remarkable strides, exemplified by SMIC's unexpected achievement in producing 7-nanometer chips using a UV machine. However, this method, involving multiple passes through the machine to increase transistor density, is slow and prone to defects, raising production costs significantly. This cost challenge extends across China's domestic semiconductor industry, where less access to advanced Western equipment and limited experience result in higher production expenses compared to imported chips. Despite these hurdles, the Chinese government remains committed to supporting domestic production through substantial subsidies and large orders from state-run companies. Simultaneously, China is investing heavily in developing its semiconductor equipment. A prime example is the Shanghai Microelectronics Equipment Group, SME, a leading lithography company working on machines capable of producing 28-nanometer chips. Yet, the journey is rife with difficulties. Developing semiconductor equipment involves intricate challenges, with components sourced globally, including countries participating in new.s.led sanctions. As China faces hurdles in obtaining crucial components, it strives to manufacture them or source them domestically. The complexities involved, coupled with China's determination and substantial financial investment, may eventually lead to success. Notably, China's semiconductor subsidy program and its ambitions to create a domestic monopoly in semiconductor equipment underscore its long-term commitment. The situation parallels the International Space Station saga, where the U.S.'s attempt to stay ahead might inadvertently propel China forward. In the ongoing saga of U.S. China semiconductor competition, the evolving dynamics pose intriguing questions about the future landscape of technology dominance. Your thoughts on this complex interplay are invaluable. Share your perspectives in the comments below. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your insights in the next discussion. This is Wall Street Millennial, signing off.